Hello, whoever's here. It says I have one viewer. Not sure who it would be, but anybody that wants to come up on panel can do so. The StreamYard's link is in the chat. Oh, sorry, whoever's here. I had to message my mama and let her know that everything was good, copacetic, whatever. Let's see if I can get some more people in here. Let's see. Create a banner. Enter. Let's see. Bear with me, y'all. I'm trying to do something here. Where am I at? Let's see. Copy. Paste. Let's see. Okay. So, comments. Whoever is here, welcome in. What did I do? Why is it not working? Here we go. Okay, got it. Whoever is in here, welcome in. I don't know who you are. It says I only got one viewer after 5 minutes, but let's start with the fact of Meghan Walsh, since this one is completely and totally supposed to be about Meghan Walsh, but I do want to help American Amy out with getting to come to the court date tomorrow. So I do have information for anyone that can help American Amy out with a Uber. She's trying to get $120 up for tomorrow. That would greatly be appreciated. Information's in the chat. But Meghan Walsh is the daughter of John and Reve Walsh. Most of you know John from the host of America's Most Wanted. He is also the man who helped fund and start the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And he now has a new TV show that him and his son Callahan Walsh run together that is called In Pursuit with John Walsh. So, a backstory. A lot of people didn't know who the Walshes really were until what happened with Adam Walsh, where he was apparently murdered and decapitated, and they found his head a couple days later. I want to say a little over 2 weeks later. And the more information that's researched, the more people do research, they come to realize when Adam Walsh's head was found, John Nora Rive Walsh identified Adam's head. And Meghan grew up in this family. Meghan knew a lot of different things, you know, she'd seen things here and there. It made Meghan raise questions. So Meghan went and Meghan started doing her own research. And when Meghan found out her research, Meghan asked her questions to her parents that she wanted to ask them. Carla, if you ain't got nothing else better to do, you can bounce on up out of here, okay? I ain't got time for bullshit. But, when Meghan started asking the questions and raising concerns about what didn't make sense to her, like why her parents never identified Adam's head, why the neighbor who identified Adam's head said it wasn't Adam because Adam didn't have the 2 missing front teeth. You know, she wanted answers. And instead of getting answers, her family started calling her crazy, this and that. And it made it hard for her because her parents called and had CPS come in and remove her children. And with her parents being John and Rive, it's been hard for her to get this broadcasted and let the world know what she's dealing with. But we can speak out for this. We can make others aware of what's going on. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm making others aware of the fact that Meghan Walsh has been fighting her parents for 2 years now for her children. Tomorrow is her TPR trial in Vero City Beach, Florida, but it's at the Indian River County Courthouse in Florida. If any of you guys can even remotely make it, even if it's later in the day, to come out and show support for Meghan Walsh, it would be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated because Meghan needs all the love and support she can get to let her know she's not alone in this fight. There are people who are listening. There are people who are not blinded by the fact that her family is, as Carla said, Hollywood stars. Meghan doesn't care about the Hollywood aspect. Meghan cares about her children. The children that she birthed, the children that she is fighting for, the children that she loves and cares about and has nurtured and taken care of for most of their lives. And because she started investigating and started asking questions, her family decided that it was going to be fun to take her children away, to make her be silent, to make people think she's crazy because they don't want the truth put out there. Well, little do they realize is the truth is out there. I've learned the truth. Others have learned the truth. All you have to do is do your research. All you have to do is investigate. And when you investigate and you learn the truth, it opens your eyes to a whole new level. And let's keep in mind, this is the man who helped fund the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And there is other people who has been on that National Center for Missing and Exploited Children that weren't actually missing. I know someone who was on there as well as her child that were not missing. They were around, but they were put on the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Why? This is also the man that many believe is such a wonderful person because he puts criminal behind bars, blah, 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 and everything else. But keep in mind, this is also the same man, and in the book he wrote that he had published, admitted that he was seeing his wife knowing she was underage and they were having relationships without her being the legal age to consent when he met her. So, is he good? No, he's not. This man's not what people think he is. And it's time to bring truth to that. Because what person in their right mind allows their child to be left alone in an arcade at the mall for over 90 minutes while the wife goes shopping? I mean, I don't care if it was the 80s or not. You don't leave your child alone to go shopping. That's not what a parent does. You keep your children with you at all time. And that's exactly what Reve did the day that Adam Walsh went missing. And then when Meghan starts investigating her own because of how she was raised and the fact of who her family had connections with, and she starts doing her own investigation, they try to keep her silenced by taking her children from her. So imagine what she's going through. Imagine what her children are going through. You can sit here and say all you want to, that it's a crock of bullshit, blah, 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 this and that, and the fifth, the third. Well, you know what? Maybe it's time you start doing your own investigation like others have to learn the truth. Why don't you do your research about, what happened with Adam Walsh? Why don't you do your research about other things? Because I've discovered the truth along with many others. And Meghan deserves to be able to have justice. Meghan deserves to be able to have her children back with her. And it's time that happens. So just remember, for those of you that are parents, and you're sitting here thinking, that Meghan deserves to have her children taken or whatever, remember, Meghan had to grow up in the limelight. Do you think that Meghan asked for that lifestyle? Meghan didn't choose that lifestyle. That was the lifestyle she was born into. All because of what happened with her brother. But when it comes down to it, Meghan wanted to know the real truth of what happened with her brother. And she has that right. But there's no reason to punish her by taking her children for the fact of her wanting to know the truth of her brother who was taken from her. That was a brother she never got to hug, a brother she never got to, play with, a brother she never got to grow up. That was her big protector. Most older brothers are always a protector of their little sister. That was things that was ripped from her because of her mother's actions. Did her mother get punished? No, her mother didn't. But, you want to sit here and you want to talk about a parent deserves to have their children taken away if this happens or if that happens and blah, 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 and everything else and stuff. What about Reve? What about John Walsh's wife? Why wasn't she punished for leaving Adam alone unattended at 6 years old? A 6-year-old child. Let's remember that, people. She left her 6-year-old child alone in an arcade to go shopping at a mall. What kind of parent does that? In my opinion, not a damn good parent. Because you want to fuss at parents for leaving their children in the car to run into the, to the store to pay for gas or something or whatever, and then whatnot, and something happens, say their child, I personally know someone who went to go pay for gas and they left their car running with their child in it, and their car got stolen in between the time that they walked in to go pay for their gas, and their child was in the back seat of the car. That, in my opinion, was a stupid move on their part. They should have taken their child out, walked with their child into the store, and paid for the gas, walked back out, put their child back in the car, and pumped the gas. But you want to hold someone like that accountable for their decisions of what they did with their child when their child was kidnapped, when the car was stolen. So why wasn't Reve, you know, punished for leaving Adam Walsh, her 6-year-old son, alone in the arcade to play the Atari while she went to go shopping at the mall? And he ended up missing and apparently murdered, in quotations, murdered back then. But you think it's okay for these parents, John and Reve Walsh, to have custody of Meghan Walsh's children. You don't know the truth behind what's going on because you don't care to investigate. You don't care to, look further into details of exactly what's happened throughout these years. But just remember one thing. Meghan Walsh wanted answers. And because Meghan Walsh wanted answers of what actually happened, Meghan Walsh had to suffer. Her children had to suffer, and they've been suffering for 2 years now. It's not fair. It's not at all. But if I know one thing for certain and two things for sure, this woman is a fighter. And she will continue to fight until her last breath for her children because she loves her children. This is, the person who grew up knowing people because of her family. This is the person who, asked questions but didn't think nothing of it at first. But the more and more she researched into it, the more and more she realized the truth. And now they try to silence her by taking her children from her. You can go look on Rumble. You can go look on, I think it's Reddit. You can go look on BitChute, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can find a lot of information out because of the fact that she's finally speaking up. She's finally speaking out. You want to talk about Hollywood and glitz and glam and everything else and this and that and the fifth, the third, whatever. Hollywood isn't always what it's cut out to be. Remember that. There's things that goes on behind the scenes. Look at Robert Williams. He was one of the greatest actors. But deep down inside, that man was suffering depression. That man ended up taking his own life. Rest in peace, Robert Williams. Do you not realize that there was things that went on behind the scenes of John and Reve's life? The host of America's Most Wanted, the people that think is a godsend, the man who's such a hero and a wonderful person because, he tries to do all this to help all these people. If, Hollywood's not as all it's out to be, and, you got all these actors and stuff who act one way in public and things are happening behind the scenes. Do you not realize that there's a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes that we didn't know about that family? So I hope y'all realize that the truth is out there It's time to do the research. It's time to put in the footwork. Most of everybody else has already done the footwork for you. All you got to do is just click on a couple of things, type in a couple of names, do some research, watch some videos, and put two and two together. And realize that Meghan Walsh didn't deserve to have her children taken at all. So, for the few people who's been in that's, listened or whatever, I appreciate it. I was hoping there was be some people in here that maybe had some questions I could answer on behalf of, what was going on with Meghan Walsh and everything, but it seems that I've only had two people in here this whole time, and one of them was a troll. So for those of you who have listened, who's watching this restream or whatever you want to call it, video, I appreciate it. Just remember, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And Meghan didn't ask for this life. Meghan didn't ask for her brother to be killed. She just wanted answers about what truly happened. I mean, it still blows my mind that John and Rive weren't the ones who identified the head. Neither one of them identified the head. And that right there in itself, it speaks volume as to the character of John and Rive. So I hope y'all have a good night. I'm gonna go back on to the Estes' channel, and I'm gonna post a few more things on his channel. I'm not gonna be up too much longer. I've been on here about 25-ish minutes, so for those of you who take the time to actually listen to this, I hope you actually do research and you realize what's truly going on behind all this, and you help raise awareness for the cause. And always remember, hashtag save Meghan's children, please. MEGHAN, save Meghan's children, save Meghan's children. I can't say it enough because they need it. So have a good night, and I will talk to you all later.